The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hi, I'm Timmy.
And I'm Mary Jane. He's the newbie.
She's the doobie, and this is the show
where we
tote
cannabis.
Talk.
From both sides.
Is that even possible?
This podcast is for adults only, should not be used as a meal replacement, and may contain nuts.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Noobie and The Doobie. My name's Timmy. I am the newbie.
Mary Jane, also known as the doobie.
And today is, it's night out day.
Yeah, that's a little confusing, isn't it?
It's a day to celebrate night outs. And so we've got a lot coming up on this show that are going to talk about crazy stories that we have and other things that talk about the night out experience.
Yeah.
But before we get into any of that, coming up on today's show is our word of the week.
We have our LA story.
We've got another clip from our friend Martin Franks with a Doober Minute.
Oh, I love Martin. And then we're going to do a cinema review,
followed by that time when my car got stolen. True story, and you're going to hear about it.
And of course, we can't forget about Timmy's Midnight Thrill.
All of that is coming up, so stay tuned. As we were coming in, I guess it wasn't coming in, it was yesterday. We were going around. You were getting prepared, getting your weed. You were getting
my supplies for the road trip. Yes,
we knew we were gonna be on the road all morning.
Yeah.
And then recording all day because we do 4 episodes in a day. I mean, by the time you watch this one, who knows which episode? We don't even know which episode this is currently.
I don't even know what day it is.
Well, it's a long day. That's how we're going to describe it.
It's 2 days.
So you were getting all prepared because unlike you, I put on my shirt and my pants and sometimes my socks.
Well,
I head out the door.
Most days, in all fairness, today you did prepare. Today, you look really good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. As do you.
Thank you.
But you have to go that one extra step further by me not being a consumer. I have nothing else I need to worry about. I had a good solid breakfast, so I knew it'd be fine. But we've talked about before how the need for cannabis in your life equates in a lot of ways for the need to food. Like if my energy level is dropping, I almost always equate it to the fact that I need to go eat. But that also happens if you don't get your THC level to a thing. Like you could be hungry or you might just need a joint. So you need to make sure that you've not only fed, but you've got, so we go out and we're looking for weed.
It's so funny. You make it sound like we're looking for weed. Nobody's had to look for weed.
Got to find Buddy. Remember
legalization, because there's one on that corner now and there's one on that corner. But yeah, we were actually out for a walk, and I thought, why not grab a pre-roll, because I like to smoke and walk. It just makes the walk that much more pleasurable for me. Maybe not you, but I was like, oh, well, let's check out this store. And I dragged you in. Actually, I didn't drag you in. You stayed outside.
I stayed outside. Yeah.
That's true. Maybe I just imagined you were there.
Well, everything's got these the limits still. And it's like, why would I, as a non-consumer, take the space when someone on the outside is going, I need my weed?
You see, I thought it was the girl on the outside that was really cute, that you were like, I'm just going to wait outside here. Which, I mean, I don't blame you, because if I didn't need something from inside, I probably would have stuck around outside too.
Yeah.
But
well, I will share her phone number with you later.
Sweet.
We'll give her a shout.
Wonderful.
So
I went in and I picked up a pre-roll. I just asked for, single pre-roll, gram, maybe, something less than $20
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to spend more than $20 on one joint, right?
Right.
And they handed me, are you going to show them?
Yeah.
I was going to throw out the box after I yanked the joint out.
I said you can't throw out the box. So my first thought, she pulled this out. She pulled this out of her
He's
purse.
like, what'd you buy?
And my first thought was, what do you need preparation H for? Like that's what it looks like. It looks
He actually said that too. I was like, that's
Yeah.
not what it is.
This is the thing. This is the sad thing about being a comic is that you have to preface thing, or it's like come up with a thing. He actually said that because much of what I say is completely and utterly untrue. So I always feel bad. It's like, why do you have to say that? And then I realized, oh yeah, because I lie a lot.
Yeah, you legitimately said that.
I said it looks like a preparation H container. Not that I know anything about preparation H containers. Although apparently, if you use that underneath your eyes,
Yeah, it's supposed to get rid of puffiness.
yeah, it's supposed to get rid
and
of
dark circles.
Yeah, and I have had these like I don't know what they're not.
You just need more sleep.
Yeah, I probably need more sleep. I'm gonna try to do it that way because I don't feel like putting preparation H on my
Put
eyes.
butt cream on
Anyways,
your
that's a whole
face.
different thing. So this was what. So she opened it up.
After, like, I want to say I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it took me like a minute to figure out how to get into it.
It's some sort of. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, okay, this is actually true too because I don't. You have to push it down. Oh, you push it down and turn it.
So it is.
Okay.
It is like
It's like a childproof.
Yeah, just like I was about to say Advil bottle, but not all Advil bottles have child resistant tops.
Right.
And I've actually called them and asked them why, because on the back of the label it says that there is enough medication in that bottle to seriously harm somebody, yet there is no child resistant cap on it. But you're making fun of the cannabis container that has to have it by law, it has to have the child resistant.
Yeah, it's got a child resistant cap. I mean, no doubt this container costs more than the joint.
It's probably why the joint costs so much.
Right.
But see, I have two children. One is 16, one is 11. And I test my children. They know cannabis, and I've asked. No, I don't give them cannabis. Well, I kind of like
I test my children for weed every day.
No, that's funny because I did get a test from the dollar store the other day, so I could test my kid for weed every day.
Well, we're going to be doing that test.
Yes, we will. Not today, but
no, not today. So don't be hanging around going, they said they were going to do a test.
Yeah,
no, but we do want to test the theory, right? Ultimately, we want to test the theory.
That's right.
Of whether or not I have any cannabis in my system, even though. I mean, when was the last time I consumed?
Oh, 2019.
Right?
Yeah, long time.
So people talk about secondhand high, all that type of stuff. And I say that it doesn't affect me at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it does in terms of my mental space but maybe I have traces. And we're interested to find out.
Yes.
Do I have traces of cannabis just by hanging out with you? Which
is I'm excited to find out, but that's not the testing I was talking about with my children because I don't consume around my children.
We'll edit all that out.
I only consume around you, right? I don't consume around the kids. So the testing I was talking about is I hand my children the empty containers.
Okay.
And I ask them, can you get into this? And I test them to see how long it takes them to get into the packages.
And how resourceful are your children?
My kids are pretty smart, and now granted, some of the packaging is similar to other packaging, and I try not to give them the same type of package twice, because like rats, you put them in the same maze, they're gonna figure their way out faster and faster every time.
For the record, MJ just called her children rats. Continue.
I did not. You did.
Maybe not.
Yeah, no, my kids don't like rats.
No, nobody does.
No.
So they can get into those things.
They can actually get into this.
I can imagine they do, but they're 11. They're
11 and 16. Yeah. But that's the thing. I feel like those age children, if they want something, whether it be, cigarettes or alcohol or cannabis or even money for lottery tickets or candy, they're going to take it if they want it.
Yeah, I suppose, unless you raise your kids properly.
Yeah, see, that's the next point. You need to raise your children.
So, so where I wanted to ultimately go with this, the whole thing of this packaging is the fact that you pulled out a single joint.
Yes.
And
out of that box.
My jaw dropped when I realized that only one joint was in this box.
That's correct. A 1 gram joint.
A 1 gram joint. And I'm just saying, if you,
this company is no
I'm not even
worse
saying
than
it's
others.
good or bad. I'm just saying, if you've never ever bought a single joint from a legal cannabis store, I would have thought seeing this package, oh, open it up, maybe three is what I thought. But it was 1.
Well,
it seems like a lot of packaging for 1 joint.
It depends. You can purchase a gram in 2 or 3 joints, like 3.3 joints. This was 1 gram joint.
Right.
So there could have been 3 in there.
With a package that is 10 times the weight.
It's got to be childproof.
Look, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying I was shocked.
Yes. Well, that's one of the biggest complaints with the packaging of cannabis is that it is wasteful. It's like, what are we supposed to do with that?
Well, I don't know. What do you do with it now? Can you recycle
just
it?
A joint. I could put another joint in there and take it to travel. Like if I rolled a joint, I could put it in there.
Well, it does have a number 7 recycling, which I think can only be used in like New Zealand or something like that.
I don't know. See, and that's that tricky thing. I have that sign on my wall too that the recycling people gave me, and there's like all these little
we all
things
hang that, but nobody ever knows what.
Well, there's one number that you can't even recycle, but yet they put it on things in that little triangle. I'm like, if it's not recyclable, then why are you doing the same symbol?
My ultimate question is, how do you recycle that paper?
I don't know.
Because it's got like a coating on it, I think. So it's like, I think, wouldn't that be funny if the recycling notice was unrecyclable because they covered in like a.
Well, no, that would make sense because they don't want you to throw it away. They want you to keep it.
So much logic. I also wanted to briefly talk before we get into some of these crazy stories and stuff.
Yeah.
It just was so funny to me. I don't even remember the context, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this.
I don't know. Should I be taking a drink right now?
Yeah, maybe take a drink.
Okay, go.
So we were talking about cannabis affecting you. This was on that same walk.
Oh, because I said secondhand high, and you said I don't get secondhand high, and I said, well, we're going to find out, and you said no, we're going to find out whether or not I have it in my system. And see, this is the discussion that I always talk about with, yes, I am under the influence, but I am not intoxicated. I am still 100% functionable.
Right. And that's the word.
And you said you were what? I said 100% of the time, I am functionable.
Functionable.
And I don't know if that's just my knack of creating words, but it sounded right to me.
And to me, I cracked up because I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, like that would derail you as a stoner to walk into like your boss
I'm a
and
functionable stoner.
I am 100% functionable. Please go home, sir.
What is the word? Functioning? I can function 100%.
Please go home, sir. No,
I never said I was good at grammar. Who teeter-tottered you how to spoke?
I am not good at grammar, but I am fully functionable.
100%. 100%.
So, okay, so there's no real bridge. I was trying to think of some kind of interesting segue.
How to get into the functionable?
Yeah, the functionable thing. I just wanted to make sure we told these stories today.
I wasn't sure where we were going because we were talking about prepping.
Yeah. No,
is that where we were going?
Here's where I want to go with it. So, because it's date night day. It's date night or it's night out day. Night out day. Night out day. So
you can tell what you do on your night out.
But here's the thing: in order for you to be fully functionable,
yes,
on a date night, right?
On any night,
you have to prep accordingly. And so this small little piece of conversation is not so much for the consumer, but for the non-consumer. And we've been hearing great reviews from non-consumers who listen to the show. And if you know a non-consumer that is, in your life and curious at all about cannabis, as a non-consumer, I hope to bring some stuff to the table that helps those people. We want our show to be watched and listened to by consumers and non-consumers.
Yes. So consumers will be able to relate with me.
They'll be able to relate
on this, and non-consumers, please listen, because you might not realize how important cannabis is to somebody else.
Right.
Because you had no idea. So the only way I can describe it is, imagine I have a young baby and you don't. And we have to go somewhere together.
Okay.
And before I can leave my house, I need to ensure that I have diapers and bottles and soothers and blankets and change of clothing, and like the list goes on and on and on.
The baby.
Of course, the baby.
Yeah, but sometimes
do not forget the baby.
People load up their cars.
Yes. And never leave the baby in the car.
Never
My God, this has happened.
A whole different thing.
Don't do that. But just say that I have to go through that massive list of things, because without those things, baby can't live. Baby can't, she's going to soil herself, or, they're going to, whatever. Soil
That's
themselves.
It's a funny word.
So think in terms of that baby, my health is that baby.
Okay.
And in order to make sure that my health is good, my baby is good, functionable, I need to make sure that I have my dried flower. I need to make sure that I have papers and a grinder and filter material, and sometimes capsules, and do you know what I mean? Like, depending on where we're going.
Well, just like
I need this massive list of things.
Just like a mom would have a dad.
A diaper bag. Oh my God.
You do. You have a case.
I have it here. Can I pull it out?
Yeah, we weren't going to go down this route, but let's do this.
So
but yeah,
funny. We were talking about packaging. I got this from work. So it's a case from Tweed. And the awesome thing about this is it actually has a lock on the side where you can stick your zipper and a little spinny knob. Okay. So it helps keep it safe during transport.
That's cool.
So just something simple like that. I also have this here, which carries my concentrates, and I actually cannot open to show you because I locked it.
Okay.
Because I was transporting it. And I didn't open this yet.
That seems like, to me, it's like the case in the movies where, they put this tiny little case in like this big protective truck, and it's like guarded because they open up and it's like got 3 vials of explosive powder.
And this one.
And that's your baby bag.
This one is my baby.
That's your diaper bag,
I take
right?
this everywhere. I'm not going to open it because I did not clean it first.
Fair enough.
And we look really nice, and oh my goodness, this is like really stinky. It's very potent. But yeah,
you have a diaper bag. Like, when we go out for a night out,
I don't carry a purse. If you see, like, honest to God, if you see me out on the street somewhere, I'm generally in a fanny pack, and I'll have, if I don't have my car close by, because that's like my purse, like I carry that weed box is my purse. And then I have my fanny pack.
Yeah.
And there's generally, unless I'm driving, there is weed within my arm's reach at every moment of every day.
Yeah. So like to do a night out if you are in a relationship as a non-consumer and a consumer, the non-consumer needs to understand that it isn't just a matter of, the cliched thing of like, the man just gets dressed, stands by the door, and has to wait for, his significant other to get dressed, and it takes so long, right? Well, now there's an extra step as a consumer, because now you got to make sure you've got your diaper bag. I
don't like that we're like referring to it as a diaper bag.
For your cannabis baby.
Although it is where I put my shit.
Oh, yeah, your soil. Put your soil.
I don't put my
baby
soil
was soiled.
Okay, that's not where we were going with that.
No.
But just be prepared that you're going to have to make these like changes, and be prepared that probably more than not you're going to be waiting 15 minutes.
But it's even with scheduling too. It's with scheduling too, because you don't just bring this stuff. if you're not going to consume it during our night out. So like we can't just say, okay, we're going
to go for dinner and a movie.
We're just going to go for dinner. Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to time that out accordingly to say,
I need to have a smoke
when is my smoke break?
Yeah.
You know,
and generally it's let's go to the drive-in because I don't want to sit inside of a building in a theater where I cannot smoke.
But there is no dinner reservation is at 6. It's the movie is at 7. So we got to get in, have our dinner, go to the theater. It's like, no, we're going to have to get a later movie because we need the smoke break. So non-consumers, understand that. You're going to need to have these break moments. And that's all what I'm learning. You got to
feed the baby.
Right? You got to feed the baby.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to feed the baby.
You got to feed the baby. Let's
should we get into the stuff from the list?
Let's get into the stuff that we have on our faithful cards that we spend so much time on. And let's start.
You say that sarcastically. Wait. What? Was that sarcasm?
No.
No. I thought I picked up on it for once.
No. But let's according to the card, you are doing your word of the week.
I am.
So let's do, ladies and gentlemen, the word of the week. Dun, dun, dun. We're still working, by the way, we're still working on getting our Paul Schaefer, who's going to create some music for these segments. You know, well, we don't have that yet, but just putting the word out there. Word of the week.
All right. Our word of the week is hash.
As it should be.
Yes. Not like heavenly hash. Although some of it is really heavenly.
It's one of my favorite ice creams.
Oh, good choice.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it is an extract, which we learned is a concentrated form of cannabis.
Yep.
This form, concentrated form would, try that again. Hash is actually a concentrated form of trichomes. Do you know what trichomes are?
Okay, so you've done other words of the weeks. I think we've talked about trichomes.
We did. Okay, so it's also known as keef.
Okay.
So, sorry, I got distracted because I was just remembering a story, which I'll mention about hash. So there is hand rubbed hash. So there's a bunch of different ways to make it. Done exactly just as you would imagine.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Growing up, not being aware of the cannabis world at all.
Yeah.
It was all just drugs.
Okay.
I never knew that hash was the same as cannabis. I thought it was a different element altogether. It was like, ooh, hash. And then some people use cannabis. Like but they're actually the same, just done differently.
Exactly. So there are different types of extracts. Hash is a form of cannabis extract using the trichomes, which is the keef, which is the sticky, icky part of the plant.
The stuff I don't like on my fingers.
The stuff you don't like. It's the stuff that protects.
Horrible.
It's the very resinous glandular globs that form on the top of the buds to help protect the plant from bugs and sunlight when it's growing.
Yep.
It's the part that actually has the highest percentage of THC. So that's why you're going to use this to make your concentrate.
Okay.
So when you make chara, which is the Indian word for hand rubbed hash, it's like one of the oldest known ways. And they would go out into the fields and they would literally spend all day rubbing their hands on the cannabis and making these big balls of hash.
That would kill me.
You would go nuts for sure. But it's the most wasteful way to make hash because you're basically taking the plant and just rubbing all the trichomes off of it. There are better ways to do it, and you lose a lot obviously when you're rubbing it on your hands.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know about anybody else, but when I've trimmed, I get really I feel like the THC is going in through my pores, and I feel euphoric. We'll say that's the word I'm going to use when I'm trimming if I don't wear gloves.
So it's literally going into your system.
Well, your skin is like,
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm a comic.
Well, they I don't know. It's like the biggest absorber of.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a scientist either, so I'm just gonna say it does get absorbed.
Is an organ. Your skin is the body's largest organ.
Oh, is that what it is? The largest organ?
See, I'm not a scientist, but I
know.
do know things.
So, okay, so the hand rubbing method is great when you're done trimming.
Okay.
Like if you do it by hand and you have like it, rather than just wasting the trichomes that are on your fingers, you can make little balls and scissor hash, which is you can just take it off the scissors as that's that stuff that builds up on your scissors. And then there is dry sift. Okay. So it's a form of taking the cannabis and putting it on like screens or I think it's called a pollen. Oh, got it here somewhere. It's like a pollen box, and you shake it, and all the trichomes go through different screens, and they fall to the bottom, and then you can use that to make hash. But how you do it is you take it and you compress it into bricks.
Okay.
And by compressing it, you get little tiny like pucks, hard pucks. You can buy like hand done cranks, but you really need a lot of force to get nice, dark, blocks. There is a method of CO2 extraction, which is done with dry ice and filter bags. I personally, that like we already talked about, we're not scientists. You talk about dry ice and I'm like, oh, chemical. I want nothing to do with that. I'll just leave that to like professionals.
You can burn your hands on dry ice.
It's so cold. It's hot. Like it stings.
You would think I'm a scientist with all the knowledge I throw out on these shows.
Well, I do know that because back in the day, I used to have a wart, and the doctor you'd go to the doctor and they'd put that like dry ice stuff on it, and it would.
I wouldn't know.
And it burned. It was so horrible. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
Maybe I have.
And then the most common, most like way that people prefer to do it is the ice water or bubble hash method.
Is that like bubble tea? I've heard of bubble tea.
Well, bubble tea it's called that because it looks like it has bubbles in it. Bubble hash actually bubbles when you heat it up. That's the air escaping from the hash. So ice water hash or bubble hash is solvent free. And it's basically made with ice and water and a bucket that you mix, or instead of a bucket, you could use a washing machine, like the camping style washers.
Could you do it like they do wine and put it in a big vat, and you can just walk around with your shoes off and crush it?
I honestly, I never understood why they did that with wine in the first place, because you're drinking it. I don't want your feet on my cannabis. But that being said,
got nice feet.
People have used laundromats in the past to bring their cannabis hash bags and with their ice and method of making hash that way. But you still have to take it home. You've got to take your screen bags and strain it all out. And yeah, obviously that information's out there. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it because yeah, I'm sure you can find that on your own. And I personally, I don't make very many concentrates like that, mostly because I feel weird washing my weed. I feel like I'm going to put it in water and ice. I'm like, I just, that breaks my heart. And I know you can do it, but I'd rather smoke it.
All right. So hash.
So
there you go. Hash.
It's
cannabis.
Yeah, it's that stuff that your
so
parents used to smoke. Well, not your parents.
In like a one-word answer, maybe two, is hashish the same as hash, or is that a whole different thing as well?
It's the same. It's the same.
Okay, because I've heard that word. I've heard hashish.
Hashish.
So hash. I like hashish. Than hash.
Funny story. I never even got to tell you about the hash. When I was a little bit younger, I made one of those hash balls out of when I was trimming, because I had just got my first crop, and I made a little hash ball. And I went over to my friend's dad, and I was like so proud, and I was like, check it out. And he took one look at it, grabbed it from me, and shoved it in his mouth. I don't know if he thought it was a chocolate or what, but I immediately freaking panicked and was like, spit it out. And he spit it in my hand, and it was really gross, and I couldn't smoke it. It was funny.
But still a good story.
It is. I don't understand how he had chewed it 3 times already because it's hash and it tastes like ash, we'll just say.
Hey, we can say anything we want on this show.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely smelled like ash.
All right. So we wanted to also talk about today, because we're talking about night out and we're talking about the need to prepare.
Oh,
and
yes.
how difficult it is to prepare
Mm-hmm.
just for a night out as a
Yes.
consumer. Now, maybe you've got this great system. Maybe you're a consumer and maybe you only, recreationally use one once in a while,
Mhm.
but you need quite a few during your day to keep your THC
Yeah,
levels up,
medicinally for
right?
sure.
Because you're a
It's
medicinal
it's
user.
a constant.
So you need that in there. So that's fair. So you can imagine that it's difficult to plan a full evening out, trying to put those into schedule. Well, we discovered we were very early on in our relationship. And not only did we attempt to plan a night out, but we planned a trip to Pasadena, California.
Which actually was supposed to be, what was the other place? Nashville?
Yes. Originally,
Yeah,
we were supposed to go to
and you
Nashville.
said Nashville, and I immediately went online and searched Nashville cannabis, and I was like, "Yeah, not going to
See,
Nashville."
There's another thing. Non-consumers. My first thinking is going, sure, Nashville. Her first thought is, let me look into this.
And immediately I
And
was
we
like,
couldn't
"Yeah,
go.
not happening."
We couldn't go because
no,
you wouldn't be able to smoke at all.
no.
So
It's bad enough that I have to go to the airport, go through security.
Yep.
At that point, I'm not allowed back outside. I'm not allowed any cannabis, anything
flying
with
in general
me.
is difficult.
Yeah, and then and luckily it's legal in LA,
Yes.
right? So I was like, yeah, let's go to Pasadena.
So we try to plan this venture down there, going down there to participate in the Clean Comedy Challenge. Leslie Norris Townsend, Joby Sad.
Which you were a finalist in?
I was a finalist. Doesn't matter who won. That's not an important part of the story. But I was a finalist there and performed at the legendary Ice House.
Yeah.
Got to see a lot of the guys that I
awesome.
look up to. Their pictures were on the wall.
Joel and Lou. Sorry.
Yes.
I miss them.
Amazing. Okay. So out of all the other people we met, don't take offense, but Lou Deck, Joel Madison, shout out to both of you. Yeah. You were very memorable.
You touched me right here.
We had some great conversations.
But not really. I did. Like, not really touch.
No,
but
they didn't touch you, no.
No. I just want to clarify that.
So just trying to get ready for that trip, though.
Yes.
And then realizing that when we get there, you need to find weed. Like it
wasn't that you were realizing. I already knew that.
Yeah,
in my head, I'm like,
but I'm the
we're
one
going to land where I was already on weed maps. Where is the closest
as a
weed
non-consumer,
store?
I'm not thinking any of this. I'm literally just thinking
I know he's like, I gotta get my bag,
go to the hotel,
gotta get through security.
And you're like, where do we buy weed? And in my head, it's like, let's go to the hotel.
He's like, let's just call Uber and go to the hotel, and it'll be fine. I'm like, it's not fine. He's talking like he just smoked a joint. I'm like, it's fine, chill. And I'm like, I need a goddamn joint. It's not fine. It's not fine.
That was a stressful day.
That was a fun day.
That's
the day we met Martin Franks.
We were down in LA. We met Martin Franks, who was our Uber driver.
And my savior, thank God he smoked weed. He knew where to go. He was like, I know where to go.
So what was amazing about this whole scenario was, and this is when people talk about, I don't know, synchronicity and universe and all this stuff coming together. Martin Franks was our Uber driver. Not only is he an Uber driver that consumes cannabis and was able to hook up MJ pretty quickly, but he actually was participating in the comedy challenge that I was participating in.
Yeah, which it was funny because he was cracking jokes and whatever, and you're like, this guy's really funny. Yeah. And then we found out he was in the thing, and you're like, oh, maybe he's.
Yeah, because he asked where we were going and why we were down there. Yeah, and then there he was. Yeah, and he did really well. He did really well in the challenge as well.
Didn't he? I think he was a finalist too.
He was, yeah. There was 5,040 finalists.
Yes,
that's the way it's starting to sound.
Out of a million.
Everybody, you were a finalist too. And here's a medal for you, and here's a medal for you.
That's funny.
But yeah, no Martin Franks. There was, I think there was 4 of us, four in the finals. Yeah. after this couple days of like competitions and stuff. And Martin was one of them. So so let's bring in Martin now. We've been doing, if you've been look back on other episodes, every couple episodes we bring in Martin Franks. We basically tell him, Martin, give us a shout from your Uber. Tell us what's on your mind. We give him no information. He doesn't know the theme of the day. We just say, tell us something interesting, Martin. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is our third episode of the Doober Minute with Martin Franks.
Doober Minute.
Hey guys, Noobie and Doobie, what's up? Martin Franks here. I was just at a red light. I'm in another red light now. This is a flashing red light, so it's a little bit different. But I was thinking about, man, these red lights. I drive so much, and I hit a lot of red lights, and I sometimes find myself zoning out at a red light, or just sort of staring into that light, and I start to like relax my mind and really open things up, and things start to get really quiet, and I'm like, wow, I'm on the verge of some sort of, I don't know, what's the word, epiphany, right? Or some sort of brilliant, discovery, of my own, on a personal level. And I'm just staring at that red light. I'm just getting there, man. And it turns green. And then I'm like, oh, green, I love it. And I just go deeper, deeper into that thing, in my brain. And I'm like, wow, I am about to really effing figure some S out, right? And then I start hearing like these other sounds, like honking and people yelling, right? And they're like, green light, a-hole. And it just snaps me out of it, man. Just when I'm about to figure it all out. Wow, so bummer. If they could change the system, it would help me out. If we could make the red lights, green, or make the green lights mean stop, then I could really stay in it a lot longer and probably figure out all that, the next level stuff. But that's probably not going to work. It's not going to happen. I would mess a lot of people up. Anyway, it's just one of those thoughts, random thought. I'm Martin Franks, signing off. Catch you guys later.
Look, I'm not going to say that that's never happened to me. Okay. I can't ever connect it to cannabis. I don't even think he was connecting to cannabis, but
I personally find that cannabis drivers are a breed of their own. I know people crack a joke about this. They say, if you drink and drive, you'll blow right through that stop sign.
Yeah.
But the person that smokes and drives sits there and waits for the stop sign to turn green. So either way, it's still wrong.
That was weak. Can you use your other hand?
Either way, it's still wrong. But I just feel like,
But look,
you'll get pulled over for going too slow.
Deep thoughts, though. Deep thoughts from Martin Franks. Martin Franks' information will be in the description boxes, both on YouTube and in our podcast. But connect with Martin, and we'll be sure to have him back for another Doober Minute in the future. I think he went longer than a minute, though. Maybe we should call it the Doober Minute Plus. Like, remember dollar stores? It's like dollar stores. Yeah, everything in it used to be $1.
Tree. Yeah.
And now we have to, it's like Martin Franks Doober Minute and a little bit more sometimes.
Yes. Doober Plus.
Doober.
That's what we'll start calling it, Doober Plus.
The Doober Plus Minute.
No, just Doober Plus.
Okay, we'll talk about it. This all should be discussed.
No, it's already been decided.
Okay, it's been decided. Martin's journey and what he just shared with us there leads actually very nicely into my cinema review. I haven't done a cinema review in a while.
Okay.
And just to catch everybody up, MJ has been forcing me. No, unfair word.
You waited until I took a drink to say that. I couldn't say anything.
But I've been watching what she would call classic stoner flicks. And some I have seen, some have completely and utterly blown her mind that I have never seen. And so
yeah, this is one of them.
we're doing these cinema reviews once in a while, SIN, because growing up in the church, cannabis was sin. So these are my cinema reviews of either movies that I feel would be enjoyed by cannabis users, or they are cannabis focused films.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting a chance to share my thoughts on them. So recently we watched Dude, Where's My Car?
I could not believe it. You didn't know what the continuum transfunctioner was.
I did not. Well, here is my review of Dude, Where's My Car?
I'm excited.
My cinema review.
I'm excited because at the end of it, you were like, that was nothing like what I thought that was going to be.
It was not. It really was not. All right, so here we go. If you've seen it or haven't seen it, Timmy Boyle's cinema review of Dude, Where's My Car?
Get all the squeak out of that chair.
2000s Dude, Where's My Car? That's hard to believe that it was over 20 years ago. Anyways, almost a decade before The Hangover masterfully took viewers on a wild and crazy, retracing the steps of a forgettable, unforgettable night out journey, Dude, Where's My Car was laying down the crude yet functional framework for such a flick. Now, let's be honest, if Kristy Swanson's character in Dude jumped out of a car trunk completely naked, just like Mr. Chow in The Hangover, this review would definitely have taken a very different slant. But sadly, she didn't. So here we are. A movie focused on a car, released at the dawn of a new millennium, starring none other than the kings of car jumps and tech design, Bo Duke and Steve Jobs. Dude, how could this go wrong? As soon as I sat down to watch this cult classic, I thought, dude, where's the popcorn? And then, a few minutes in, I thought, dude, where's the plot? And then, dude, where's Mr. Chow? And then, as the credits rolled, I thought, dude, where did my last 84 minutes go? From the moment I heard one of the lead characters, and I can't remember if it was Bo or Mr. Jobs, and it doesn't really matter, but the moment one of them uttered the words, dude, where's my car? I knew two things for sure about this movie. One was that this is the line that the producers got the title from. And two, a car is missing. To this day, those are the only two things I know for sure. Turns out Dude, Where's My Car was just the first of many, many questions stirred up within me. For example, how do I get into a Zoltan cult? Why can't hot space chicks in latex come after me? Can I find one of those continuum transfunctioners on Amazon? And of course, where is Mr. Chow? As compelling as those are, my most pressing question is actually, what happened in this movie? I mean, I do have a very vague recollection of ostriches, Scandinavians, and a closet dweller, but little else. I can't even remember which one is Jesse and which one is the other guy. But you might be thinking, at least you remembered the names Zoltan and Continuum Transfunctioner. Well, that, my friends, is called Wikipedia. Is my inability to recall any specifics of this film a result of being high? Nope, I don't consume. Is it because I've only seen it once? Nope, because MJ, who was high and has seen it a million times, and despite loving it, seems just as fuzzy on the details as I am.
Yeah, throw me under the bus.
The reason I can't remember anything is because Dude, Where's My Car is exactly like its premise. It is a forgettable, unforgettable experience. And that is why I recommend watching it. And because of Kristy Swanson. As a stoner flick, I give it 3 joints out of 5, which is quite respectable. And I'm looking forward to the sequel, Dude, is that a naked Christy Swanson jumping out of the trunk of a car? That I'd go see.
I think it most likely is going to be, dude, where's my walker?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. Is that a shot at Mr. Kutcher?
No, it was at Chester.
Which one was Chester?
Exactly.
There's my cinema review on Dude, Where's My Car? I really do recommend it. You could watch it. You literally could watch it a million times and you will forget it the next day. And you can watch it again as if you've never seen it before. It is that unforgettably forgettable.
Well, it was so funny because as soon as we started watching it, I immediately went into, oh my God, this kind of looks like Bill and Ted.
Right, yeah.
Because in Bill and Ted's, they have the hot princesses.
Yep.
And then in Dude, Where's My Car? Sorry, I almost forgot the name of the movie. Oh, dear
right?
Lord.
I'm telling you, this is no joke. Watch it, and the next day you'll be like,
what happened? Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is it reminded me very much of I do not think that Steve Jobs and Bo Duke did the Bill and Ted's characters as well as Bill and Ted.
Who is this Bo Duke?
You know, Bo Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Isn't that Ben Stiller?
No, that's the guy who played.
Oh, that's Starsky.
The guy. Yeah, Starsky and Hutch. That was Ben Stiller.
Okay.
And Owen Wilson. That was a good movie.
Okay.
That was a good movie.
Wrong.
Might not be a cinema review, but
wait, they're not superheroes.
But here's the thing. I will say this. I did enjoy. I enjoyed the weirdness of it, and I actually told you that if I was to create a movie, and we have some ideas of stuff we want to create, I would pull elements out of that. It went down some crazy paths. So there you go. I give it 3 joints out of 5. That's my new rating system going forward on our cinema reviews.
Nice. See, I if I could do a show, it would be very Pee Wee Herman-esque.
Right?
Yes. And maybe a little bit of Tim Burton. Oh, and Tarantino in there as well. That would be like a really crazy.
Actually, if I was to, and we might actually talk about this in another show at some point, but if I was to make a movie, I've always told people Mystery Men.
Oh, I love that movie.
Would be a movie that everything about that movie. Look, Batman, 1989 Batman, great movie. Die Hard might be one of the most perfect movies cinematically across the board. But if I was to make a movie, almost everything about Mystery Men, I was like, oh my goodness, I would do that.
The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Boy who's not.
When he's all naked. Right?
There's so many.
If you haven't seen that one, you should watch it too.
That was the only movie that I've seen 4 times in the theater. I actually brought people to see it. I'm like, you got to go see this.
Which is funny because most people are like, that movie sucked.
Yeah, those people shouldn't be. If you're one of those people, find something else to listen to. I don't even need them as viewers right now. There's certain people you just brush off.
Well, you don't need to listen to Timmy, but you can listen to me.
It's kind of like this. I have a shirt that you can buy online. I'm going to do a shameless plug here at TimmyBoyleComedyStore.com that says, if Michael Keaton is not your Batman, keep social distancing. So once COVID's over, there's certain people. You don't like Mystery Men? You don't think Michael Keaton is the best Batman ever? We can keep the social distancing thing going for as long as you need. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it. I wanted to, though, after talking about that, it reminded me of the time where I walked outside and my car was gone. Now I didn't.
That's like every day you go to the grocery store, or the time we went to the Kiss concert,
that's absolutely
the Blue Jays game.
I do. I lose my. Wait, did we mention that on
that one time before? At IKEA?
Did we mention that one time before on an episode?
That was one of our Noobie or Doobie,
more likely
which is funny because I lose the key and you just lose the car.
I lose the car every time. So at first I thought, so I walked outside. This was years ago. I was in Toronto, and I walked outside and my car wasn't there. But I didn't think anything bad, like it was stolen, because I'm used to walking out.
You thought it got towed?
No, I thought I misparked it somewhere.
Oh yeah, because that's the Timmy thing.
I just don't know where my car is. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. I can walk out of grocery stores and I will do this pause, and MJ immediately will be like, you don't know where we parked, do you? And I'm like, no. We've only been in the grocery store for like 5 minutes.
You know, it's funny. I've actually debated buying garland at Christmas time and wrapping the roof rack of your car because you're tall. and you would
Yes,
be able
I'd
to
be able
look
to
out
see it.
into the parking lot and see this
I
sparkly
need like a
garland.
Christmas tree on my car.
You need like sirens and lights on the
You
top.
think I'm going to notice a little bit of glitter?
That's true.
I'm not a very observant
My
person.
kids make fun of the fact that you don't notice anything.
Like, you have kids?
Which is funny because they don't notice when you're there. They
No,
go,
that's
"Oh,
true.
Timmy's here?" Like, he slept over. Like, he was here all day yesterday. Where have you been?
Yeah, I'm like a ghost. I always bother my son because I always call him a ghost, but I think that's where he gets it from.
Yeah.
He's kind of like,
but that's because he
floating,
just
floating.
walks around the corner and goes, so.
So,
Because you never see him unless you want something.
that's true.
So.
So
So.
I walk out, my car isn't there. Okay. And I start walking around the streets.
Because maybe you parked on the other street.
Well, because back then, here's the thing: I had to move my car 3 times because I refused to buy a parking permit.
Yeah.
So I would get up at midnight and to move my car to avoid. And one time we were parked in this one spot, and I got ticket after ticket after ticket. And slowly, the cars that were around me were all vanishing as people were like, "I'm not paying more tickets," and I'm just like, "I've got money in my budget. You just keep. I'm not parking anywhere else."
It's the same as paying for parking.
Yeah, right. I'm just paying. So just keep ticketing me. Anyways, so I paid all those tickets, by the way. Point is, I end up calling the police, and I'm like, "Hey, like my car has been stolen." Eventually, and they said, "How do you know your car has been stolen?" And I hate dumb questions in general, but it's the police, so you have to kind of humor them a bit. And I was like, "How do I know my car has been stolen?"
Because I just spent the last 3 hours wandering the streets looking for it.
Well, I had actually come across it, and so I described it. I said, actually, there was glass all around my parking space.
Oh, I was like confused. You came across your car?
I came across the space.
Oh, you came across the
and so there was glass all around the parking, and I had heard squealing tires the night before, but I didn't think too much of it at that time, right?
So can I ask what kind of car this was?
Oh, well, here's the thing. The reality
You're not
is,
remember.
Well, I don't remember, but I do know this. I knew that I had the best security system possible. It's called crappiness. Like, why would anybody want to steal my car?
I was going to say, was it a crap car?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like literally, that if they wanted my car that bad, they could have come to my house, knocked on the door, and said, "Hey, can I have your car?" And I'd be like, "Sure." Like you didn't have to go.
I'll give you 3 days before I call.
You didn't have to go through all that work. So I say there's squealing tires, there's glass on the ground, and there's this pause, and then they asked, for them to, how do you spell squealing? And I'm just like, who am I dealing with here? Like that's not even my car isn't here.
SKW.
So he goes away. He takes down my information, right? And comes back a little while later and says that they pretty sure my car's been stolen. And I don't know what they're discussing, on the thing. Like I told them that, and so I don't know what information they gathered in those first few minutes. But clearly, like Nancy Drew I'm working with here, or
Drew Nancy.
I actually called the officer Nancy Drew. It turns out it was a man it was a very awkward moment. His voice was a little bit on the high side. But the point is that eventually they got all my information. They said they'd call me back. Okay, half hour later, the phone rings, and they say, we've got good news and bad news. Now, I'm one of those people that always wants, I like the bad news first. Right? A lot of people want to hear the good news, but I want the bad news. So I say bad news, but do you know which one he told me?
The good news.
Yeah, the good news, right? Because it's the only question in the world that no matter which one you pick.
Because if they give you the bad news first, then they've already given you the good news.
Question?
Because let me guess, the good news was that they found your car.
The good news, yes, they found my car.
But listen, if they didn't tell you the good news and they started with the bad news, then you would have already known that they found your car.
Right. But how would that be bad to the story? I know they found my car.
Well, they should just say bad news.
Yeah, exactly. My point is, it's a useless question.
Oh, it's useless phrase.
Just tell me what you're going to tell me. So they say they found my car. Okay. Now they'd only been on for a half hour. So you're asking, how did they find your car in a half hour? Here's what happened. True story. Follow me here. If you're listening in the podcast world, you're gonna have to go onto YouTube to really get this picture. But basically, my fingers are like 2 inches apart. And what happened was the person, it was a man, because they did say somebody saw a witness was there, saw a man flee the scene. A guy stole my car from here, drove it around the corner, and crashed it into 3 parked cars, 3 unmoving vehicles. Now, look, I am not a mastermind in the criminal underworld, okay? I am just sitting there saying, if by chance, children, if you're listening to this podcast, which I think we have an 18+ law, you can't.
If you're listening, shut it off.
Yeah, pass this on. If you are, maybe you're advanced in age and you're looking for a job change, because of COVID, and you're thinking, maybe I'd go into car thievery. Maybe that's a route I'd like to take. There's some money in it.
You better know how to drive a car.
Right? Exactly, right? A little bit of quality control, just like that's the number one
Maybe
rule.
Get a bicycle next time.
Right? Like, can you imagine somebody going into like, the boss of the criminal underworld and be like, hey, I'd like to apply. I'd like to be a pickpocket. And they're like, okay, do you have fingers? And it's like, no. It's like, what? Like, then you can't be a pickpocket if you don't have fingers. Like, just a little bit.
I have teeth.
Yeah.
They run around
a little
biting
bit obvious.
everybody.
So here's the thing. So I'm really ticked off by the whole thing. And then they say this. So they say that one man was seen fleeing the scene. And my driver's side window has been smashed in. My passenger side window has been smashed in. And the front end of my car has been almost accordioned. Okay. Now, in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, hold on one second. One person was seen stealing my car. I understand fully why one person would smash my driver's side window, because you need access to the steering wheel. But then I'm racking my head over going, well, hold on one second. Why in the world would one man also feel the need to smash my driver's side window? Like, it's either like somebody who is like just a gratuitous, destructive individual.
But did they smash it prior to the accident? Or did they just smash the driver's window, climb in, and then the other windows got smashed when he wrecked the cars?
Well, I would think that because the front window wasn't smashed, that it was a smash in prior to the thing. Either. So here's what I told the guy. I don't know.
I've never stole or wrecked
I don't
cars,
know how it all works. All I know is that I had this light bulb moment, and I was like, okay, I don't know how this all played out, but clearly the man who stole my car was British, because he went to the other window first, smashed it. So now we've narrowed it down.
That would make sense why he hit the cars, because he was trying to drive on the other side of the road.
Right. So I thought I had broken the case wide open.
Or Australian. Don't they drive on the other side in Australia too?
No, I don't. I live in
Sterling. Their toilets go the other way.
No, they don't. We actually had an Australian comic on calling comedians in quarantine, and we went. Oh no, it wasn't him. Yeah, we did. We checked out his toilet.
And it was clogged.
I think it spun the wrong way, or the other way. Anyways, my point is that I thought I had figured this whole thing out. The cop apparently wasn't impressed with my sleuthiness.
So did you get insurance all covered and you got another car? It was all good?
No, I don't even know, because the car was worthless. And so I ended up buying another car off of somebody else's lawn. It was a long string of buying cars off of people's lawns. So anyways, that was a true story. My car was stolen. Very unsettling, but I think I could be a policeman after that, though, because I'm pretty sure I put together some pieces to solve the thing.
Well, I had my car stolen once, and I will tell you, the police were no help in that matter.
No.
Have
you ever stolen a car?
No, but that's what they were trying to say. Yeah. They were trying to say that I stole the car.
I've never stolen a car, but apparently it's not that difficult, because the guy who stole my car clearly wasn't all there. So.
Well, yeah, I do you cross wires like they do in the movies? Like,
I don't know.
I would tell you.
How about a Teaching Timmy segment on one of these episodes? Teaching Timmy.
We don't have the right. We don't have the right people in here. I don't know how to do that.
All right. If you know how to hotwire a car, drop us a line.
Yes.
Let's close off today's episode.
Yes, I'm excited. What is this midnight thrill?
Okay,
Timmy's
the midnight thrill. So we were putting all of this stuff is all piecing together, and I thought about, after watching Dude, Where's My Car, and my car being stolen, you get these moments of like something weird and crazy happens, and then afterwards you're kind of like, you look back on it and you're like, wow.
Were you abducted?
That was a little odd. I wasn't abducted. Okay. I wasn't abducted. But if I get abducted, I want 5 of those leather-bound, latex-bound women.
If you give us the continuum transfunctioner, we will give you oral pleasure.
Right? Why doesn't that happen in life?
You need the continuum transfunctioner.
We're going to end this show here. We have a few minutes left. So for those of you who don't know, I am an author. Inside Timmy's Mind. You can get that through timmyboylecomedystore.com, or just drop me a line, save yourself some extra costs there, and order it from me directly, and then I'll be able to sign it for you. But I was thinking in particular about Dude, Where's My Car, and about waking up the next day and realizing that something amazing had happened the night before. And they didn't remember it. But in my case, I remembered it. But waking up is what stopped the amazingness. So so we're going to close off today with a story from my book, Inside Timmy's Mind.
That's kind of sad.
It's called Midnight Thrill.
It stopped when you woke up.
It is. So here we go. This is it. And with this, we close.
On with the show. This is it.
This morning, I got up bright and early. Okay, so it wasn't exactly bright, but it was early for me. It was 7 a.m. I was thoroughly disappointed when my alarm went off. But not because it was 7 a.m. or that it was still dark outside, or even that it was ice cold in my room. I was peeved that yet another great dream had been cut off midstream. I hate that. And it happens far too often. Just when things are getting good in dreamland, beep, beep, beep. Actually, my alarm doesn't beep. I use my cell phone, and it plays a tune called Memory. It's a pleasant little ditty, but I'm thinking about replacing it with the A-Team theme song very shortly. Anyway, just prior to being raised from the dead of sleep, I was having one of the most incredibly awesome dreams ever. But sadly and ironically, as memory started to play, the memory of my dream began to fade. So unfortunately, I can't explain all the details to you. However, I'm able to recall most of it. The story seemed to revolve around free-range chickens, Abe Lincoln, and a road trip to Kamloops, BC. Now you understand why I'm upset. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't want to know how that ended? But there's no use crying about it because my alarm did go off for a reason. I had something to do, an important thing, a thing that would make missing the end of an epic dream worthwhile. What thing, you ask? Was I going to meet Ben Stiller? Nope. Heading off on a Caribbean cruise? Nope. Buying new furniture from IKEA? Nope. So then what was this awesome reality that would ultimately replace my awesome dream? It was this. I had to clean my back deck before the roofers arrived. That's right. You heard me. No one will ever know if Abe and I safely arrived in Kamloops because I had to clean my deck. Stupid roofers. How frustrating. Now I will never know if the chickens were really secret agents, which I was beginning to suspect. I will never know if Abe was just using me to get close to Ben Stiller, which I also was beginning to suspect. And I will never know if the man in black who was following us was an assassin or just going to Kamloops as well. This is killing me. There was so much left unsaid. Why would Abe never take his hat off? What was he hiding? Why was the chicken that we knew as Carl carrying a passport that read Henry? And where did the kilt-wearing blonde girl from the McDonald's disappear to? So many questions. Would the 18-foot silver girdle turn out to be just a myth? What does sweet honey when the moon rises to the north mean? And why did Abe kill the person who said it? How did the monkey in the Spider-Man mask crack the safe's combination so quickly? I have so few answers. Why did the raspberry smoothie taste like lemon? How did the man in the black survive the crash? I saw his car explode in flames after we ran him off the road during the long, winding chase through the mountains. And whatever happened to the suitcase that was once handcuffed to Carl's leg? So much mystery still left to be unraveled. Why did that small-town gas attendant slip a pack of smokes into my hand and whisper 3694? Would anyone ever find the all-important corner piece to the ancient map? And for goodness sake, who the heck was Thomas? What a thriller. But now I guess I'll never know how it ends. That's like my Dude, Where's My Car story. It's like, dude, where's the ending?
I'm just like stuck on the fact that Carl probably isn't a chicken. It's probably a hen, and that's why his name's Henry.
But I'm ching. High five.
High five.
High five. All right, there was our crazy night out. Shared a dream. Shared a story about a crazy
Our
night out.
out day.
Our night out day.
Yes.
Down in LA.
Yeah.
So many interesting stories. And I can't imagine what my life would be like if I smoked pot once in a while. Right?
I
Do you
can't
get dreams like that?
imagine what my life would be like if I
Do you get
didn't
cannabis
smoke pot
infused
once in a while.
dreams like that?
I actually don't dream,
Okay.
which is weird
All right.
because we both have the Fitbit, and I get about 20% REM every night.
Yeah, and I get about 6.
And I say I don't
And
dream.
I still get stuff like this. Anyways, inside
Yeah.
Timmy's mind. All right, let's wrap this thing up, shall we?
All right.
Let's get out of these.
Let's get a bow.
I'm so hot in this suit.
I know
Right?
you are hot in that suit.
Thank you very much, as are you.
I'm not wearing a suit.
No, but still hot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in next week when we have some more random things that may or may not be true, nor interesting, or not.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
And Timmy will actually change again.
And I will change back into my regular black shirt and blue
Or
jeans.
maybe not. Who knows?
My name's Timmy.
My name's Mary Jane. Stay lifted.
And keep on laughing. I think we just did it. Cheers.